Hi everyone, my name is Suzie Dawson. I'm an activist, a journalist. Welcome to my channel. Hopefully you would have heard the amazing news last week that Russia has accepted my application for temporary asylum for review. They have issued me a certificate which is valid for 90 days while they undertake that review of my application. As of the current date, there is 76 days until I will receive a final decision relating to my asylum application. This is amazing news for me and was a really big deal because obviously so much time and preparation went into the application process. It was exhausting, but it was important and necessary. And I'm really blessed and really pleased that I now have this reprieve while the decision is being made and can legally reside here in Moscow until that date. I want to thank all of my supporters who have cared so much and reached out to me through this period. You have been amazing and it has really fortified me during this fight. So I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about the campaign and also to let you know my plans personally. So first of all, this campaign is, as I've said before, not actually about me getting asylum or not getting asylum in Russia. It's about holding to account the powers and the agencies that have been relentlessly persecuting me for most of this decade. And those powers and those agencies have been exploiting their funding and resources and technologies to target everyday citizens and activists and journalists across much of the world. They have more than 100 partner agencies and they control really the technological infrastructure of most of this earth. Most of this planet is directly under their control and their influence, and that is completely anti-democratic and it is immoral and it is wrong. And it's going to take large numbers of citizens fighting back together against them, fighting for transparency about what is happening and coordinating together to raise public awareness to start to halt some of the abuses that have been going on all around us. Obviously, the work of Julian Assange and WikiLeaks and Edward Snowden and many other activists and journalists have been taking on the same fight. We know now a lot more than we did a decade ago about what is happening. But we need to take these real-world examples like myself and like many other targets, and we need to raise them up to the light and allow people to fall in behind us and to become our bulwark in this fight back against those agencies. I would urge you, if you're interested in my plight, to read through and watch and listen to my body of work throughout this decade. In doing so, you'll discover that I was complaining about being targeted since 2011. The first time my house was broken into was December 2011. I was investigating and writing about these agencies, including the FBI, the GCSB, the NSA, and the Five Eyes since 2012. I was interviewing high-profile political figures in New Zealand, my home country, throughout 2013 and 2014, talking about these abuses and the technologies being used against us. And I've continued my investigations into the abuses of the intelligence agencies throughout the period since I've left New Zealand, which is 2015 through to 2019. My work has been consistent and my focus has been consistent, and this campaign likewise is yet another step in that same battle for transparency and accountability. I'm really lucky now to have, at long last, a talented, qualified legal team, a transnational legal team actually. I have representation at home in New Zealand and here in Russia, and others working very hard to help to create pathways for redress. redress was completely denied me in New Zealand. In New Zealand, the agencies who should have protected myself and my children turned their back on me over and over again. There was no one in New Zealand to protect me, but now, seeking asylum in Russia and having an amazing legal team, having a campaign team of fantastic activists working with me and helping to advocate for me, finally, I do have some measure of protection, and I'm going to double down on my efforts to fight the Five Eyes. The Five Eyes promise that they are about combating terrorism, but they have been targeting people who are not terrorists. They've been targeting people who don't have weapons, who have no record of violence, who are not extremists. They've been taking counter-terrorism funding and legislation, using the legislation to cover their activities and deeming us as threats to national security. You'll see today that I tweeted, and previously I've written about, that in New Zealand, they have removed the legal definition of threat to national security. They've wiped it off the books. The use of the term threat to national security is now an arbitrary term, arbitrarily applied by New Zealand officials and used as cover for the persecution of dissidents or of any citizen who in any way challenges power. That is not the promise of democracy. The promise of democracy was the right to protest, the right to dissent, the right to freedom of association and freedom of expression. That is what we're fighting to restore. That is what we're fighting to preserve for our generation and for every generation to come. I want to thank you all for being a part of this movement. Now that I've got some administrative stuff that I had to do out of the way this week, I'm going to be re-engaging myself massively on the Discord platform and beginning a lot of promotional efforts to begin to be even more effective in spreading the messages of this campaign. And I greatly appreciate all of you who are committed to doing that work alongside me. I will come back to you with another update as soon as possible. And we'll continue this countdown to the decision about my application for asylum together. Thank you so much.